So, I have a crazy story for you today. Imagine this. You're sitting there, sifting through a jar of old coins, maybe a few pennies here and there, the usual stuff. And then bam, you spot something that makes your heart race. A 1971 Lincoln penny. Not just any penny though, no sir. This one has an O mint mark. Could it be? Could it really be? You might have just found a coin worth $1.70 million. Sounds like something out of a treasure hunt, right? But seriously, it's more likely than you think. So stick with me as we dive into how this rare penny could make you rich and how to spot one if you're lucky enough to find it. All right, let's start from the beginning. If you're a coin collector, or if you've just randomly picked up coins like I have over the years, you might know that most pennies are pretty, well, worthless. I mean, how many of us have jarred up a ton of old pennies from the 60s and 70s, thinking maybe one day they'd be worth something? But here's the thing. There's one key feature that can turn a 1971 penny from a dime a dozen into a jaw-dropping $1.7 million dollar coin. And that is, drumroll, please, an O mint mark. Yeah, you heard me right. The 1971 penny that's worth big bucks has no mint mark, and that's a big deal. But hold on, why does that matter? Let's break it down. In 1971, the US Mint was busy cranking out pennies like there was no tomorrow. But in certain years, some pennies were made without the usual mint mark on them. Now, most of you are probably thinking, yeah, I've seen pennies without a mint mark before. But here's where it gets good. Not all those pennies are created equal. The ones with no mint mark from 1971? Super rare. So rare, in fact, that the value of one of those babies can reach up to $1.7 million if it's in great condition. Crazy, right? Okay, so what exactly is a mint mark? Glad you asked. Mint marks are those tiny letters on your coins, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or no mark at all, meaning it was minted in Philadelphia. Most pennies from 1971 have a D or an S, but when one comes through without any mark, that's when the fun begins. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Not every no mint mark penny from 1971 is automatically a $1 million gem. No, no. It has to be in good condition. We're talking near perfect condition here. If it's scratched, worn, or corroded, then you're probably not looking at a fortune. But if it's uncirculated or even just lightly worn, that's when you start to dream about retiring early. So, funny story. I've actually had a very close encounter with a potentially life-changing penny. A few years back, I was cleaning out my grandma's old coin jar, the one she tossed pennies into from her purse over the years. I'm casually going through these coins, mostly 1980s stuff, when I spot a 1971 penny. I think, okay, cool, let's see if it has any mint mark. I flip it over, and nothing. No mint mark at all. I'm freaking out at this point. I mean, this could be it, right? But as I'm staring at this penny, I notice a scratch down the side, and that, my friends, is where my dreams of retiring early died. Turns out, my penny wasn't worth much. But hey, at least I got a good story out of it, right? So, let's talk value. Like I mentioned, a 1971 penny with no mint mark can sell for upwards of $1.7 million. But don't get too excited just yet. The condition really matters. A good one can fetch you around $100 or so, but if you've got an uncirculated one in mint condition, that's when you've got a jackpot. The crazy thing is, the price isn't static. These rare pennies are constantly being bought and sold, and there are collectors who are willing to pay top dollar for the ones that meet all the right criteria. And here's the kicker. There are fewer than 20 of these bad boys known to exist, which makes them super hard to come by. So, when one pops up at auction, you'd better believe it's going for a premium. So, how do you tell if your 1971 penny is one of the lucky few? Well, first off, check for that mint mark, or lack thereof. If there's no mint mark, that's your first clue. Next, take a good look at the condition. The coin should look relatively clean, with little to no wear or damage. If it's in rough shape, it might still be worth a bit, but you'll need to do some more research to see if it has any collectible value. Alright? So there you have it. Your 1971 penny with no mint mark could very well be the golden ticket to financial freedom, or it could just be another coin in your jar. But hey, either way, now you know what to look for. So, next time you're going through your old coins, Keep an eye out for that 1971 penny with no mint mark. Who knows? You might just be sitting on a small fortune. And hey, before you go, if you found this video useful, or if you've got a stash of coins you're dying to know more about, hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips on coins worth money, strategies to spot the rare finds, and stories about how you could become the next big-time coin collector. You definitely don't want to miss out, trust me. Hit subscribe, and let's go hunting for those rare coins together. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time with more tips on how to turn your pocket change into pocket cha-ching. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Now, if you've ever come across a penny and thought, it's just a penny, what's the big deal? Well, you might want to sit down for this one, because what if I told you that there's a penny out there worth a whopping $1.8 million? Yep, you heard that right. A single penny that's worth more than most people's entire savings account. It's the 1968 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and it's sitting in the lap of coin collecting royalty right now. So, how do you find one of these bad boys? Is there one in your jar of change just waiting to make you rich? Well, stick around, because we're diving deep into what makes this coin so special, why it could be worth an absurd amount of cash, and how you might have one sitting around without even knowing it. Trust me, by the end of this, you'll never look at your spare change the same way again. Let's jump in. All right, let's break this down. You've got your standard Abraham Lincoln penny. Nothing special about it, right? It's a penny. It's been in circulation since 1909, and you've probably tossed a bunch of them in the fountain, hoping for some good luck, or, more realistically, drop them into the jar on your dresser. But here's the kicker. In 1968, something strange happened with some pennies. See, pennies have a mint mark that tells you where they were made, either the D for Denver or the S for San Francisco. But in 1968, for a small batch of pennies, the mint mark was missing. That's right, no D and no S on the coin. It was like the coin was running around, trying to be all mysterious, saying, "I'm not from here. I'm rare, I'm different, and I'm gonna be worth a lot one day." At first, nobody knew what they had. These coins were just floating around, being treated like, well, regular pennies. But over time, as coin collectors started doing what they do best, looking at everything with a magnifying glass and a lot of patience, someone noticed that these 1968 pennies without a mint mark were pretty rare. Now, we've all heard about the famous error coins, right? Like the ones with double dies, weird engravings, or misplaced mint marks. Well, the 1968 no mint mark penny falls into that error coin category, and as time has gone on, it's become a holy grail for collectors. Why? Because it's so dang rare. To put it in perspective, only about 10 of these pennies are believed to exist in the wild. Now, I don't know about you, but if I found a penny worth $1.8 million, I'd probably pass out from shock. Seriously, I found a quarter in the parking lot the other day and felt like I won the lottery. But a 1968 no mint mark penny? That's like hitting the jackpot and finding a unicorn in your backyard. But here's the real kicker. How do you even know if you've got one of these million-dollar beauties? Well, the first thing you'll need to do is check the date. It's got to be 1995 easy enough, right? Then, look closely at the coin's reverse side. You should see the spot where the mint mark would be. If you see nothing there, boom, that's your golden ticket. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, how can I tell if it's the real deal, or if I've just got an old penny that's worn down? Here's a tip. A lot of people will buy these coins from you, especially at auctions or specialized coin shops, but make sure they're experts. Getting a professional appraisal is the best way to confirm the coin's authenticity. There's no need to rush to eBay and slap a $1.8 million price tag on your penny just yet. Okay, let me tell you about the time I almost found something worth a lot of money. A few years ago, I was at a garage sale, and I noticed a box of old coins. I'm talking a box full of everything from dimes to quarters to what looked like some weird foreign coins I'd never seen before. Naturally, I dove in, because hey, I thought, maybe I'll find a hidden gem. I started flipping through, and sure enough, there it was, a 1921 Morgan silver dollar. I almost fainted. In my head, I was like, this has got to be worth a fortune. I bought it for $5, like a total bargain, and rushed home to do the research. Turns out, the coin was a counterfeit. It wasn't even a real Morgan dollar. So, Yeah, my dream of finding a $1,000 coin ended up being worth less than the cup of coffee I spilled on it. But that's the life of a coin collector, right? You get excited, but you've got to do your homework first. So, when it comes to these 1968 no-mint mark pennies, you've got to be a little cautious. If you find one, don't just run off to sell it to the first person who says, "I'll give you $100 for it." Get it appraised, get it authenticated, and then start dreaming about that sweet $1.80 million now. I know what you're probably thinking. Great. So I need to go through every single penny I've got to see if one of them is worth $1.8 million. And yeah, that might take a little time, but think about it. If you do find one, you could be on your way to living the dream. Plus, you'll never look at spare change the same way again. Here's the deal. If you're into coins and you want more tips, tricks, and insider info on finding valuable coins, whether it's rare pennies, silver dollars, or anything else in your change jar, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm posting new videos every week, sharing everything I know about the coin world, and trust me, there's always something worth talking about. And if you've got a coin story or a question, drop it in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys. Let's keep the conversation going and make sure none of us miss out on that next big coin discovery. All right, you've probably heard this one before. I went to the store and got some change, only to find a penny that was worth more than my car. Sounds like a tall tale, right? But what if I told you that one specific penny could actually be worth over $1.9 million? Yep, that's right. I'm talking about the famous 1971 mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. No, it's not a typo. 1.9 million bucks. In today's video, we're diving into how this little copper coin went from being a pocket filler to a potential lottery ticket. Stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you might just be digging through your change jar with a whole new perspective on those pennies lying around. Let's get into it. So, you're probably wondering, what's so special about this particular penny? It's just a regular old 1971 penny, right? Nope, not quite. See, most of the pennies from 1971 aren't worth much more than the 1 cent they were originally minted for. But there's a catch. A rare variety of the 1971 penny was produced at the San Francisco Mint with a mint mark that made it more special than all its little penny buddies. The S mint mark, which stands for San Francisco, wasn't supposed to be there at all. This penny was accidentally produced with the wrong mint mark, and that mistake made it a super rare find. Now, the standard 1971 penny doesn't have much value, but here's where things get interesting. The 1971 S penny, if you can find one in mint condition, could fetch around $1.9 million at auction. Yep, I said million, not thousand. And how do you know if your penny is the one? Well, first of all, you'll need to look for that S mint mark, which is located right under Abraham Lincoln's shoulder. Looks pretty ordinary, doesn't it? But what makes the 1971 S penny so valuable is how rare it is in such great condition. Most of these were used, tossed around in change, and well, got worn down over time. If you're lucky enough to find one that's nearly flawless, maybe tucked away in some old coin collection or buried in your grandma's drawer, that's when the big bucks start rolling in. Now, you might be thinking, okay, I'll just check my penny jar and make $1 million today. Well, hold your horses, because while it's a rare find, it's still out there. Here's the thing. Most people don't even realize they have a potentially life-changing penny sitting in their collection. I mean, I was once that person. I had a jar of pennies sitting in my drawer for years. One day, I decided to finally go through them, and what do I find? A 1971 penny. My first thought? Meh, just another penny. But then I saw the mint mark, and suddenly I thought, wait, what if this is the one? Spoiler alert. It wasn't the $1.9 million penny. But that moment, thinking I was holding onto a small fortune, was a game changer for me. It made me realize how important it is to pay attention to the small details. You'd be surprised at how many other coins out there can hold value if you know what you're looking for. And trust me, I've learned the hard way. After that, I started researching more about rare coins, and you won't believe how many incredible finds are sitting out there just waiting to be discovered. Let's break down the numbers here. If you come across a 1971 S penny that's in pristine condition, you're looking at a coin worth hundreds of thousands, maybe even a cool million. But here's the catch. you have to know what to look for. You can't just grab any 1971 penny and assume it's worth a fortune. Grading is everything. Host points to a grading chart on the screen, showing how pennies are graded from poor to mint state. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. So, if your penny looks like it's been run over by a truck, unfortunately, you won't be making any millions. But if your coin has minimal wear, clear details, and that shiny, minty glow, now we're talking. So, where do you go from here? First things first, check your penny jar or coin collection. If you've got a 1971 S with that mint mark, give it a close inspection. Next, get it graded. Professional coin graders can tell you exactly how much it's worth. You can't just rely on what someone tells you online. A proper grade can make all the difference when it comes to selling the coin or just knowing how much it's really worth. Now, you might not find the $1.9 million penny on your first try, but the lesson here is simple. Pay attention to the coins you have. Even the smallest, most ordinary-looking coin can have an incredible story behind it, if you know where to look. And if you want to learn more tips about rare coins, how to spot them, and strategies for growing your coin collection into something valuable, hit that subscribe button right now. You don't want to miss out on future videos where I share even more secrets to coin hunting. Believe me, you might be just one penny away from a fortune. Thanks for tuning in today. And remember, whether you're a coin collector or just someone looking to make a few extra bucks, keep an eye on those pennies. They might just be worth their weight in gold. Hey there, treasure hunters. What if I told you there's a penny, yep, a regular OL penny, that could make you a millionaire? I'm not talking about pirate gold or some ancient artifact. Nope, I mean a 1985 D. Lincoln penny, the kind you might just find tucked away in an old jar of spare change. Believe it or not, one of these little copper coins recently sold for a jaw-dropping $2 million. That's right, million, with an M. So, grab your magnifying glasses, folks, because today, we're diving into the world of valuable pennies and what makes this particular one so special. What's so special about the 1985 D. Lincoln penny? First, let's break this down. The D stands for the Denver Mint, where this coin was struck. Now, most 1985 pennies aren't anything extraordinary. You could probably find a handful in your couch cushions. But the one we're talking about? It's a rare breed. This penny is a variety coin, meaning it has an error or unique feature that sets it apart. In this case, experts believe it's an ultra-rare double die or a misstrike, which means the die used to mint the coin was slightly misaligned. This creates a doubled image on the coin. Think of it as the minting equivalent of a happy little accident, as Bob Ross might say, except this accident is worth more than a Picasso painting. Current market value and why it's worth $2 million. So, why did someone shell out $2 million for this bad boy? It all comes down to rarity and demand. There are likely only a handful, if not just one, of these coins in such pristine condition. Plus, collectors love a good backstory. Now, before you go tearing apart your piggy bank, let me sprinkle in a little reality check. Most pennies from 1985 are worth, well, a penny. But if you do happen to stumble across one of these unicorn coins, you're looking at a life-changing payday. And hey, it's not just the 1985 D penny you should keep an eye out for. Plenty of other coins, like the 1943 steel penny or the 1955 double die penny, are also worth a fortune. Speaking of treasure hunts, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I got hooked on coin collecting. One night, I stayed up till 2 a.m. sifting through an old coffee can full of pennies my grandma had saved. I was convinced I'd strike gold, or, in this case, copper. Did I find a 1985 D worth $2 million? No, but I did find a 1944 wheat penny that was worth about $50, and let me tell you, I felt like I'd won the lottery. Moral of the story? It's not just about the money. It's the thrill of the hunt and the stories behind these coins that make collecting so much fun. So, what are you waiting for? Go dig through your drawers, check those old jars, and maybe even ask your grandma if she's got a stash of pennies lying around. You never know. Your next big payday could be hiding in plain sight. And if you want more tips on coins worth serious cash, strategies for building your collection, or just some fun stories about the quirks of coin collecting, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. I've got tons more content coming your way, and trust me, you won't want to miss it. What if I told you that the humble penny sitting in your pocket could be worth a jaw-dropping $2.1 million? Yup, you heard me right. A single Abraham Lincoln penny from 1994 with no mint mark could make you richer than your wildest dreams. Sounds too good to be true? Stick around, because today we're diving into the fascinating story of this elusive coin, how it got its insane value, and, most importantly, how you might just strike it rich. Spoiler alert, you'll want to check that jar of pennies on your dresser by the end of this video. The 1994 no mint mark penny. What's the big deal? Okay, first things first. Why is this particular penny worth so much? Let me set the stage. Back in 1994, the US Mint was churning out billions of pennies. Most of them were made at the Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco mints, which is why they have little letters like P, D, or S under the date. But every now and then, a penny slips through without a mint mark. Here's where things get spicy. This isn't just a minting error. It's a legendary mistake. Why? Because the 1994 no mint mark penny isn't officially recognized. It's like the mint's ghost. They didn't mean to make it, but here it is, haunting collectors with its rarity and massive value. Theories abound. Some say it was a fluke, a one-in-a-billion mistake during production. Others believe it was an intentional slip-up by a rogue mint employee. I like to think of it as the coin equivalent of leaving your wallet at home on pizza night. Completely unintentional, but definitely impactful. Now, this is the part where your jaw drops. The 1994 no mint mark penny has become the holy grail for collectors. It's not just about rarity. It's about the story behind it. In 2021, one of these bad boys popped up at auction and sold for $2.1 million. That's like trading a penny for a private island. Here's the $1 million, or should I say million. How do you know if you've got one? Take a close look at any 1994 penny you have. This one's obvious. There should be no letter under the date. It needs to be in excellent shape. If your penny looks like it's been through a garbage disposal, sorry, it's not the one. If you think you've struck gold, have it authenticated by a reputable grading service. A professional opinion can turn your hunch into a payday. Okay, let me share a quick story. A few years ago, I was rummaging through my old piggy bank. Don't judge. I was looking for quarters for laundry. Anyway, I came across this weird-looking penny. No mint mark, shiny as a new car, and my heart skipped a beat. For a hot second, I thought I was about to become a millionaire. Long story short, it was a 1994 penny all right, but the lack of a mint mark? Just my imagination playing tricks on me. Let's just say, my dreams of buying a yacht vanished faster than a coin down a vending machine slot. But hey, you never know, right? So, there you have it, folks. The mysterious 1994 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny that could change your life. If you've got a jar of coins at home, start digging. That penny could be hiding in plain sight, just waiting to make you a millionaire. And even if you don't find one, it's a heck of a lot more exciting than scrolling through your phone for the 800th time today. Before you go, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and wild stories about coins worth money. Let's turn pocket change into big bucks, one coin at a time. What if I told you there might be a $2.2 million penny sitting in your spare change jar right now? No, this isn't a prank. Today, we're talking about the 2016 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny and why it's sending shockwaves through the coin collecting world. Hi there, fellow treasure hunters. Welcome back to Big Coins Dealer, where we turn pocket change into pure gold, or, in today's case, millions. If you love discovering hidden treasures or just enjoy hearing about the wild world of coin values, you're in the right place. Stick around because you don't want to miss this jaw-dropping story of how one tiny penny made history. Let's start with the basics. Most modern pennies are, well, ordinary. But the 2016 no mint mark Lincoln cent? It's like finding a four-leaf clover in a field of weeds. What's so special about it? Well, it all comes down to a rare error at the US Mint in 2016. Pennies were primarily struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, but a tiny batch of coins rolled out of the Philadelphia mint without the signature P mint mark. This was a huge deal because it's a minting anomaly, and collectors love anomalies. Think of it like finding a Picasso sketch in a thrift store. Now here's where it gets really exciting. A collector recently shelled out a staggering $2.2 million for one of these pennies. Yup, you heard that right. A single cent fetched more than some luxury mansions. So, why the sky-high price? It's the trifecta of rarity, condition, and demand. There are only a handful of these no-mint mark pennies known to exist, and this one was in pristine, uncirculated condition. Basically, it's the Beyoncé of pennies, one in a billion. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I went through a phase where I'd dump all my loose change into a jar at the end of the day. One rainy afternoon, I decided to sift through it, just for fun. I found a few wheat pennies and even a 1943 steel cent, which was cool but nothing crazy. Now, every time I think about that jar, I can't help but wonder, did I overlook a 2016 no-mint mark penny? Was I sitting on a small fortune without realizing it? Moral of the story: never underestimate your spare change. Tips for spotting the 2016 no-mint mark penny: obviously, it needs to say 2016. If there's no P, you might be onto something. The closer it is to mint state, the more valuable it could be. So, what's the takeaway here? Don't ignore your loose change. That humble penny in your pocket could be worth millions. The 2016 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is a perfect example of how even the most ordinary-looking objects can hold extraordinary value. If you're as fascinated by coins as I am, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and stories to help you spot coins worth big money. Who knows? Your next find could be life-changing. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Now go raid those coin jars and see what treasures you can uncover. When was the last time you actually looked at the coins jingling in your pocket? Probably never, right? Well, what if I told you one of those seemingly ordinary pennies might just be worth a jaw-dropping $2.3 million? That's right, we're talking about the legendary 1973 D. Lincoln penny that turned heads in the numismatic world. Stick around, because today, I'm going to tell you why this tiny coin is worth more than your car, or maybe even your house, and how you might accidentally be sitting on a fortune. Plus, I'll share a hilarious story about the time I thought I struck it rich. Spoiler alert, I didn't. But it's a good laugh. Alright, first things first. What's so special about this 1973 D. Lincoln penny? Let's break it down. The D stands for the Denver Mint, where this coin was struck. Now, most of the 1973 pennies from Denver are your run-of-the-mill, 1-cent wonders. But one unique coin slipped through. A penny struck on a planchet that wasn't copper. Instead, it was made of aluminum, a material the mint was experimenting with to save costs. Aluminum pennies were never officially released to the public. Almost all of them were destroyed, except for a few that somehow escaped into circulation. Think of it as the coin world's version of a secret menu item. Only a few lucky people even knew it existed, let alone got their hands on one. Now, fast forward to today. One of these rare 1973 D aluminum pennies showed up at an auction and sold for a staggering $2.3 million. That's enough to make anyone stop and check their couch cushions. So, why the hefty price tag? It's all about rarity and history. Coin collectors love a good story, and this penny has it all: mystery, government experiments, and a one-in-a-million survival story. It's the coin equivalent of finding out your grandma's old quilt is actually a Picasso. And here's where my personal story comes in. A few years ago, I was convinced I'd found my million-dollar coin. I had this 1973 D penny that looked a little too shiny to be copper. I was already imagining the headlines: regular guy becomes millionaire with pocket change. So, I sent it off to a coin expert. I waited weeks, refreshing my email like I was waiting for a college acceptance letter. When the verdict finally came in, it turned out my shiny treasure was just a regular penny someone had cleaned. Yep, someone had scrubbed it to the point of blinding brilliance. And there I was, left with a coin worth exactly 1 cent. Moral of the story? Not every shiny penny is a jackpot, but it's always worth a second look. Now, if you're wondering how to identify the real deal, here are some tips. Aluminum pennies are much lighter than regular copper pennies. If your 1973 D penny feels like it could float away, that's a good sign. Magnet test. Aluminum isn't magnetic, so if a magnet doesn't stick, you might be onto something. Always get your coin verified by a trusted expert. Don't be like me and get your hopes up before confirmation. So, what's the takeaway here? Always check your change. You never know when $1 million coin might be hiding in plain sight. Coins like the 1973 D. Lincoln penny remind us that even the smallest things can hold incredible value. And hey, if you've got a pile of old pennies at home, now's the time to go on a treasure hunt. Who knows? You might just find your ticket to early retirement. Before you dive into your coin jars, do me a favor. If you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more tips on coins worth money, how to spot valuable ones, and even some hilarious stories from my own coin collecting adventures. Thanks for watching, and remember, every penny counts, especially if it's worth $2.3 million. You know that feeling when you find a crumpled dollar bill in your old jeans? Now imagine finding a penny, yes, just one measly penny, and learning it's worth a staggering $2.4 million. Yup, that's right, a single copper Abraham Lincoln coin could change your life. So, grab your loose change, dust off that jar of forgotten pennies, and stick around because today we're diving into the fascinating story of the 1989 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. Could you already have one in your pocket? Let's find out. First things first. What makes this little guy so special? In 1989, the U.S. Mint accidentally released a batch of pennies without the usual mint mark. That's the little D for Denver or P for Philadelphia you usually see under the date. A mint mark tells you where the coin was made. No mint mark? That screams rare error, and collectors love errors. Think of it as the quirky misfit of the coin world, and in this case, quirky means cash. Here's where things get crazy. Error coins like this are super rare, and rarity drives up value. Plus, this penny is a perfect storm of collectible appeal. It's from 1989, a year most of us remember for big hair and bigger shoulder pads. It's a classic Lincoln penny, already beloved by coin enthusiasts. And, because of the error, there are only a handful of them known to exist today. Collectors will pay top dollar, well, millions, to own a piece of history like this. It's like the coin version of finding a first edition comic book. Okay, here's the deal. While the chances are slim, they're not zero. Most 1989 pennies aren't worth more than face value, but it's always worth a closer look. The key is to inspect the date and check for that missing mint mark. Pro tip: use a magnifying glass or your phone's camera zoom. Your eyesight is good, but it's not that good. Let me tell you about the time I thought I'd struck gold, or copper in this case. A few years back, I got into coin collecting after a friend casually mentioned their dad had found a rare coin worth $5,000. So, I went full Sherlock Holmes on my spare change. I'd sit at the kitchen table, flipping penny after penny. One day, I came across a 1989 penny with no mint mark. My heart nearly stopped. I thought, this is it. I'm retiring early. It was just a regular penny with worn-off marks. But hey, the thrill was worth it. Plus, I've learned so much about coins since then, and maybe, just maybe, one of you will find the real deal. So, you've checked your change and bam, you spot a 1989 penny with no mint mark. Don't clean it. Seriously, leave the grime. It's part of the charm. Get it authenticated. Reach out to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. If it's legit, you're sitting on a small fortune. From there, you can auction it off or sell it directly to a collector. So, what are you waiting for? Dig through your car's cup holder, check under your couch cushions, and raid your old piggy bank. You never know what treasures might be hiding in plain sight. And even if you don't find a $2.4 million penny, the journey itself is worth it, because who doesn't love a good treasure hunt? Before you head off on your coin quest, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and stories to help you uncover the hidden value in your pocket change. Who knows? Hey there, treasure hunters. You're digging through your spare change, the coins jingling like a low-budget metal detector, when suddenly, BM, you stumble upon a penny worth $1 million. Sounds like a fairy tale, right? Nope, it's the story of the 1982 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. Today, we're diving into why this tiny copper coin is causing such a massive buzz in the numismatic world. So, grab your piggy banks and let's find out how a humble penny could make you a millionaire. Oh, and stick around until the end because I'll share a hilarious story of how I once thought I hit the jackpot. Spoiler alert, I didn't. Alright, let's talk about the 1982 penny. First, a bit of background. In 1982, the US Mint was in a bit of a transition phase. They switched from making pennies out of copper to using zinc with a copper coating. So, you've got large date pennies, small date pennies, and pennies with no mint marks, all from that year. The no mint mark penny from 1982. Normally, coins minted in Philadelphia didn't have a mint mark back then. So at first glance, you might think, big deal, right? Wrong. The key is in the details. If you've got a 1982 penny with no mint mark, it's got to meet specific criteria to be worth a fortune. Look closely at the 8 in 1982. If it's thinner and more delicate, congratulations, you're looking at a small date. It's copper, not zinc. Here's the kicker. You need a small date copper penny with no mint mark. Now, how do you know if it's copper or zinc? Simple. Grab a scale. Copper pennies weigh about 3.11 grams, while zinc pennies are lighter at 2.5 grams. A small investment in a pocket scale might be the best money you'll ever spend. Drumroll, please. If you've got the real deal, your penny could fetch upwards of $1 million. That's right, one coin, 1 million bucks. Imagine trying to explain that to someone at the bank. Hi, I'd like to deposit this. Yes, it's just a penny, but trust me, it's got 7 figures written all over it. Now, here's my confession. A few years back, I found what I thought was a rare penny. I was so excited I nearly tripped over myself running to my laptop to research it. After hours of squinting, weighing, and Googling, I realized it was just a regular old penny with some dirt on it. Let's just say my dreams of retiring early were crushed. But hey, at least now I can save you from the same heartbreak. So, what's the moral of the story? Check your pennies. That little coin rattling around in your car cup holder or under your couch cushion could be a millionaire in disguise. Just remember to double-check the date, weight, and mint mark, or lack thereof. If you're as fascinated by coins as I am, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'll keep sharing tips on how to find hidden treasures in your spare change, and who knows, you might just uncover the next $1 million coin. Like this video if you're ready to raid your piggy bank, and let me know in the comments. What's the weirdest thing you've ever found in your change? Hey there, coin enthusiasts, treasure hunters, or maybe just folks who happened to click on this video because you saw $1.1 million and thought, wait, what? Welcome to another episode of Coins Worth More Than Your Car. Today, we're talking about the 1979 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yes, you heard that right. A penny that could potentially put your kids through college. Now, before you start flipping over every couch cushion in a frenzy, let me tell you, not all 1979 pennies are created equal. This specific one is special, and not just because it's from the 70s, a time of disco, bell-bottoms, and questionable hairstyles. Stick around, and I'll explain why this tiny copper coin is worth a fortune and how you might just have one hiding in your piggy bank. Alright, let's dive into it. First, the basics. Most coins minted in the US have a little mint mark, a tiny letter indicating where they were made. For example, D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But in 1979, something strange happened. A batch of pennies left the mint without any mint marks. Nada. Zilch. Just good OL. Honest ebb chilling on the front. Why is this such a big deal? Well, these no mint mark pennies were supposed to be made at the San Francisco Mint, known for producing proof coins, those shiny, mirror-like coins collectors love. Proof coins are supposed to be flawless, but someone must have had a case of the Mondays because these coins hit circulation by accident. They're incredibly rare. Only a handful have been found, and one of these bad boys recently sold for a jaw-dropping $1.1 million. That's right, a penny worth more than a Lamborghini. Let that sink in for a second. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I got into coin collecting because, well, who doesn't love a good treasure hunt? One day, I'm sorting through a jar of pennies from my grandparents' house, hoping to find something valuable. My heart skipped a beat when I saw a 1979 penny without a mint mark. I thought I hit the jackpot. Turns out, it was just a well-worn Denver coin that had lost its mint mark over time. Talk about a roller coaster of emotions. But hey, that's the thrill of the hunt, right? If you're lucky enough to find a real 1979 no mint, proof coins are always extra fancy. Condition matters big time. Certification. Get it authenticated by a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Don't just take your uncle's word for it. Now, let's talk value. Even if your penny isn't the $1 million one, similar no-mint mark coins in top condition can still fetch thousands of dollars at auction. So, it's worth taking a closer look at your loose change. So, there you have it. The story of a humble penny that turned into a millionaire's dream. Who knew something so small could be worth so much? And if you're thinking, well, I don't have any pennies from 1979, don't worry. There are plenty of other valuable coins out there just waiting to be discovered. If you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button and join our growing community of coin enthusiasts. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and stories about coins worth money, so you won't want to miss what's coming next. Oh, and don't forget to drop a comment below. Tell me if you've ever found a rare coin or if you're about to raid your coin jar right now. Thanks for watching and happy hunting. Who knows? Maybe you're just one penny away from striking it rich. Would you believe me if I told you that a humble little penny, yes, the kind rattling around in your car cup holder, could be worth $1.2 million? That's right. Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of the 1952 Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that's not just pocket change, it's life-changing. So grab your coin jar and start hunting while we break this down. All right, let's rewind to 1952, back when soda cost a nickel and Elvis was just getting started. The S on the coin stands for the San Francisco Mint, one of the three major U.S. mints at the time. They produced millions of these pennies. So why is this particular one so special? Turns out, it's a minting error. Imagine an artist accidentally smudging their signature on a masterpiece. That's what happened here. The error, combined with its scarcity in mint condition, makes this coin a jackpot for collectors. If you have a 1952 penny that's been sitting untouched, perfectly preserved, it could fetch up to $1.2 million at auction. Let me repeat that: $1.2 million. And no, this isn't monopoly money. But, and this is a big but, most 1952 pennies won't even get close to that value. Unless yours is graded as mint state, 68 or higher, we're talking anywhere from a few bucks to a couple $1,000s. Still, not bad for a penny, right? First, grab a magnifying glass or use your phone's zoom feature. Check for that S mint mark just below the date. Then, examine the condition. If it looks like it just rolled off the minting press, no scratches, no wear, you might be sitting on a gold mine. And hey, don't forget to take it to a professional grader. It's like getting a second opinion, but for coins. When I first got into coin collecting, I thought I hit the jackpot with a 1943 steel penny I found in my grandfather's drawer. Turns out, it was worth about 10 cents. But hey, that got me hooked. I learned the ropes, and now I've built a collection worth a small fortune. All starting with what I thought was a lucky find. Moral of the story? Every penny has a story, and you never know which one might surprise you. All right, folks, it's time to raid your piggy banks, rummage through old coffee cans, and call up Grandma to see if she's got some coins stashed away. The 1952 Lincoln penny might just be the ticket to your dream vacation or retirement. If you love this dive into coin collecting and want more tips on spotting hidden treasures in your pocket change, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. I've got more videos on coins worth money, how to spot valuable errors, and strategies to build your collection on a budget. So what are you waiting for? Let's turn those pennies into possibilities. Did you know that a humble penny from 1967 could make you a millionaire today? Yup, you heard that right. A penny that once bought a piece of gum is now worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. Imagine flipping through your old coin jar and stumbling upon a treasure. Sounds like a dream, right? Stick around, because today we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. All right, let's break this down. First of all, what's the deal with this penny? The 1967 Lincoln penny is unique because it lacks a mint mark. Normally, coins minted in Philadelphia don't have a mint mark, but here's where it gets spicy. In 1967, the U.S. Mint was experimenting to simplify production. No mint marks on coins meant no one could hoard coins from certain mints. Smart move back then, But who knew it would create a collector's frenzy years later? Now, you might be wondering, why is this penny worth $1.3 million? Great question. The answer lies in its condition and rarity. A coin in pristine, uncirculated condition can fetch a fortune at auction. And when I say pristine, I mean it's gotta be shinier than your grandma's silverware at Thanksgiving dinner. Grab a magnifying glass and inspect your coins closely. Look for details like sharp edges, a strong "In God We Trust" lettering, and Lincoln's portrait. The better the condition, the higher the value. Oh, and don't clean it. Trust me, using toothpaste on a rare coin is like washing a vintage Ferrari with dish soap. Not a good idea. Speaking of relatable stories, let me tell you about the time I went digging through my change jar. I was so excited after reading about rare pennies that I turned my living room into a treasure hunt zone. Spoiler alert. I didn't find a millionaire penny, but I did find a 1943 steel penny worth a couple of bucks. That paid for my coffee the next day, so not a total loss. But seriously, it's worth checking. Who knows? That penny you used to flatten on train tracks as a kid might actually be your ticket to early retirement. So, what's the moral of today's story? Don't underestimate the power of pocket change. A 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny could be the jackpot you didn't know you had. Go ahead, raid your drawers, dig through your couch cushions, and maybe even sweet-talk your grandparents into letting you inspect their old coin collection. You never know what you might find. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins worth money, strategies for spotting hidden treasures, and a little humor to brighten your day, hit that subscribe button and join the adventure. Oh, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It might just bring you some extra luck in your coin hunting journey. Imagine digging through your couch cushions or an old coin jar and bam, you find a penny worth $1.4 million. Sounds like a fairy tale, right? Well, today, we're talking about a very real coin, the 1973 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. This humble little coin could turn your spare change into life-changing money. Stick around, because I'll share exactly why it's so valuable, what to look for, and how you might already have one sitting in your pocket. Oh, and I'll tell you a funny story about my own penny hunting misadventures. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. Okay, first off, what even is a no-mint Mark penny? When coins are minted, they typically have a little letter, like D for Denver or S for San Francisco, that tells you where they were made. But some 1973 pennies have no mint mark, which means they were minted in Philadelphia. Now, here's the kicker. Most Philly coins aren't super valuable because they made tons of them. So why is this one different? Here's why. It's a rare error coin. A small batch of 1973 pennies were struck with a special die, making them ultra-unique. Add in their perfect condition and a little sprinkle of collector obsession and bam. You've got yourself $1 million penny. Zoom in of a magnifying glass over a 1973 penny, highlighting the absence of a mint mark. All right, let's talk numbers. In 2019, one of these pennies sold for a whopping $1.4 million at an auction. Why? Well, it wasn't just any 1973 penny. It was in mint state condition. Basically, it looked like it had just been made yesterday. Collectors go absolutely wild for coins like this. It's like finding a rare comic book still in its plastic sleeve, or an untouched first edition Harry Potter book. Perfection equals big bucks. So, if you've got a 1973 penny with no mint mark, grab a magnifying glass, because you could be sitting on a gold mine, or, well, a copper mine. On-screen graphic, $ flying out of a penny jar. So, let me tell you about the time I thought I struck it rich. I found this old penny in my grandma's coin jar, 1973, no mint mark. I was already planning my dream vacation to Hawaii. I rushed to a coin shop and handed it over like I'd found the Holy Grail. The guy took one look, smirked, and said, "Yeah, this is worth about 1 cent. Turns out, it had a scratch on the back that killed the value. Talk about a humbling moment. But hey, lesson learned. Check your coins carefully, folks. And maybe leave grandma's coin jar alone unless you ask first." Okay, so you think you might have one of these rare 1973 no-mint mark pennies. Use a magnifying glass and good lighting. Look for that shiny, scratch-free surface. Send it to a coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. they'll officially rate its condition. Check out coin auctions or websites like Heritage Auctions or eBay for serious collectors. Remember, the closer to mint condition, the higher the value. But even if your penny isn't worth $1.4 million, it could still fetch a nice chunk of change. So there you have it, the story of the 1973 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny that's worth more than some houses. Now it's your turn to check your spare change. Who knows? Your next trip to the grocery store might lead to an accidental treasure hunt. If you found this video helpful, or if you just love the idea of turning pennies into piles of cash, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for more tips on coins worth money. I've got plenty more strategies, stories, and expert advice to help you cash in on hidden treasures. Thanks for watching and happy hunting. You're digging through an old jar of pennies, probably one your grandma stashed away years ago, and you stumble upon something extraordinary. No, it's not a long-lost love letter or a key to a treasure chest. It's a 1969 D. Lincoln penny. You toss it aside, thinking, meh, just another penny? But wait, what if I told you that little copper coin could be worth up to $2 million today? Yeah, you heard me right. $2 million. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating story of the 1969 D. Lincoln penny, why it's so valuable, how to spot one, and, most importantly, how you might already have a fortune hiding in plain sight. So grab your magnifying glass, because we're going treasure hunting, folks. The history of the 1969 D. Lincoln penny. Let's start with the basics. This penny comes from the Denver Mint, hence the D mint mark, and it was minted in, you guessed it, 1969. But here's the kicker. It's not just any 1969 penny that's worth millions. The one we're talking about is a rare double die variety. That means some of the letters and numbers on the coin appear to be doubled, almost like they're doing a little shimmy on the surface. So how did this happen? Well, back in the day, minting technology wasn't as precise as it is now. Mistakes like this occurred when the die, the tool used to stamp the coin, shifted slightly during production. Normally, these errors are caught and corrected, but every once in a while, a few sneaky coins slip through the cracks and make their way into circulation. Here's where things get spicy. A regular 1969 D penny is worth, well, a penny. But a double die 1969 D penny? That's a collector's dream. These coins are so rare that only a handful are known to exist. And when rarity meets demand, you've got a recipe for a multi-million-dollar jackpot. For example, one of these pennies sold at auction for over $2 million. Imagine turning 1 cent into $2 million. That's better than winning the lottery and no Powerball ticket required. Now, before you start raiding every couch cushion and piggy bank you can find, let me give you a crash course in identifying this rare penny. The 1969 should appear doubled, as if it's been stamped twice. The words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" should also show signs of doubling. Mint mark location. Make sure there's a D mint mark under the date. But, fun fact, the doubling doesn't affect the mint mark itself. Pro tip: use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Squinting at a penny isn't a good look. Trust me, I've tried it. Once, I spent an entire afternoon staring at pennies, and by the end of it, I was seeing double on everything. Turns out, I didn't have a rare penny. I just needed a nap. Speaking of staring at pennies, let me tell you about the time I thought I struck gold. I was cleaning out my junk drawer. You know, the one that's basically a black hole for batteries, rubber bands, and mysterious keys. Anyway, I found this old penny and thought, this could be it. This could be the one. I grabbed a magnifying glass, compared it to pictures online, and even called a buddy who's a coin collector. Turns out, it was just a dirty penny from 1985. But hey, it sparked a new hobby, and now, here we are. Okay, let's say you've hit the jackpot and found a potential 1969 D double die penny. First, don't freak out. Well, maybe freak out a little. It's $2 million after all. Take it to a professional coin dealer or grading service like PCGS or NGC. Don't clean it or try to polish it. Collectors prefer coins in their natural state. Consider selling it at auction. Big auction houses like Heritage Auctions specialize in rare coins and can help you get top dollar. So, what's the moral of the story? Never underestimate the power of loose change. That penny in your pocket might just be your ticket to millionaire status. And even if you don't find a 1969 D. Lincoln penny, hunting for coins is a fun, inexpensive hobby that anyone can enjoy. If you found this video helpful, or if you're now inspired to dig through every coin jar in your house, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I've got plenty more tips on spotting rare coins, understanding their values, and turning your pocket change into big bucks. And hey, who knows? The next video could help you find the next $1 million coin. Hey there, coin hunters and treasure seekers. Imagine this. You're digging through your couch cushions, searching for spare change to buy your favorite snack, and bam, you pull out a penny. Just a regular OL penny, right? Wrong. What if I told you that penny could be worth $1.60 million? Yup, today we're talking about the infamous 2014 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Sounds fancy, doesn't it? But don't let the lack of a mint mark fool you. This humble little coin might just be your golden ticket. So grab your pocket change, pull up a chair, and let's dive into the story of how a penny, yes, a penny, could change your life forever. The backstory of the 2014 no-mint mark penny. First things first. What's the deal with this coin? Well, in 2014, the US Mint released billions, and I mean billions, of pennies. Most of them came from either the Philadelphia Mint or the Denver Mint. Normally, coins from Philadelphia don't carry a mint mark, so no mint mark penny isn't unusual. A small batch of these pennies was struck on the wrong planchet, basically, the wrong type of metal. This mistake created an ultra-rare coin that collectors go absolutely bonkers for. Think of it like a misprinted baseball card or a rare Pokemon card. Only, way cooler because it's actual money. It's just a penny. Why would anyone pay over $1 million for it? Great question. The value comes down to rarity and demand. Coin collectors, or numismatists, yeah, fancy word alert, are always on the hunt for unique errors like this one. In 2019, one of these bad boys sold at auction for a whopping $1.6 million. That's more than most people's houses. The buyer? A hardcore collector who saw it as the crown jewel of their collection. So yeah, if you've got one of these coins, you're basically holding a mini jackpot in your pocket. Alright, let's talk specifics. If you're sifting through your change, here's what you need to look for: a slightly off color. These pennies tend to look a bit different because of the planchet error. Find details that might seem slightly off. If you're unsure, take it to a professional appraiser or coin shop. Scammers are out there making counterfeit versions of this coin. So if you're thinking, oh, I'll just make one myself, don't. The pros can spot a fake from a mile away, and nobody wants to end up on the wrong side of a coin scandal. Here's a little personal story for you. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my old coin jar. The one that sits in the corner collecting dust, and I came across a shiny 2014 penny. For a hot second, I thought I'd struck gold. No mint mark, slightly odd color. I was ready to retire early. It wasn't the real deal. Turns out, it was just a regular penny that had been through the washing machine one too many times. But hey, it made me realize how easy it is to overlook the value of these tiny treasures. So now, every time I get change, I take a closer look. And trust me, you should too. So, what's the moral of the story? Don't underestimate the power of pocket change. That 2014 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny might just be the ticket to your dream vacation. Or, a mansion with a pool shaped like Lincoln's profile. If you're feeling inspired, start checking your coins today. Who knows? Your next grocery store run could make you a millionaire. And before you go, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more tips, stories, and strategies to help you find coins worth serious money. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters. Did you know you might have a small fortune hiding in your loose change? That's right, today, we're talking about the 1991 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a humble coin that could be worth an eye-popping $1.7 million. Yes, you heard me. A single penny could change your life. So before you toss that jar of coins into the Coinstar machine, you'll want to stick around to learn why this unassuming penny has collectors scrambling to get their hands on it. Trust me, this could be the most valuable 25 minutes of your life. Unless, of course, you already have a penny worth millions. Then, hey, drinks are on you. Alright, let's dive into it. First off, What makes the 1991 no mint mark penny so special? On the surface, it looks like any other Lincoln penny. Same coppery shine, same profile of honest Abe staring pensively into the distance, probably wondering why nobody ever gives him a second look. But here's the twist. This penny was struck without a mint mark, meaning it wasn't labeled with the letter indicating where it was made. Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. While that might not seem like a big deal, in the world of coin collecting, it's huge. Now, let's clear up a common misconception. Not every 1991 penny without a mint mark is worth $1.7 million. Nope, it's all about rarity and condition. The one we're talking about today is a unique error coin, which means something went wrong during the minting process. This particular penny wasn't just a mistake. It's an anomaly, a one-of-a-kind piece that makes collectors' hearts race faster than a kid in a candy store. I remember the first time I learned about valuable coins. I was going through my dad's old coin jar because, let's be honest, who doesn't love free money? And I found a penny from 1973. I got all excited, thinking I'd struck gold. Spoiler alert, it was worth exactly 1 cent. But hey, it started me on this coin collecting journey, and now here we are, talking about a coin that could literally buy a mansion. Funny how life works, huh? Anyway, back to the 1991 penny. What makes it worth such an insane amount is the combination of its error, its condition, graded MS-67, which is almost flawless, and the fact that it's a certified piece of American history. Think of it like finding a Picasso at a yard sale. It's not just a penny anymore. It's a piece of art, a relic, and a conversation starter all rolled into one. How do you know if you've got one of these bad boys? Step 1. Grab your pennies. Step 2. Check for the date, 1991. No mint mark? Great. But don't start planning your yacht purchase just yet. You'll need to get your coin professionally graded to confirm its authenticity. There are a lot of fakes out there, so tread carefully. And hey, even if yours isn't the million-dollar penny, it could still be worth more than face value. Error coins, in general, are hot commodities, and collectors are always on the lookout. Never clean your coins. I know. Who doesn't want their penny to look all shiny and new? But trust me, collectors value originality, even if your coin looks like it's been through a war. So put down the polish and step away from the Brillo pad. All right, folks, that's the scoop on the 1991 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just someone who loves a good underdog story, this little copper coin proves that sometimes it's the small things in life that can make the biggest difference. Who knows? The next time you're digging through your pocket change to pay for coffee, you might just uncover your million-dollar miracle. Before you go, do me a favor. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins that could make you rich, or at least buy you a nice dinner, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss the next big tip. Share this video with your friends, too. You might just help them find their own hidden fortune. And remember, every penny counts, literally. Imagine this. You're sorting through an old jar of pennies, and boom, you find a coin worth $1.9 million. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, what if I told you that dream could actually come true? Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of the 1964 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a humble coin that could turn you into a millionaire. So grab your loose change and stick around, because you won't want to miss this. Let's start with the basics. First, what do we mean by no mint mark? Simple. It means the coin was minted in Philadelphia. Back in 1964, Philadelphia didn't stamp their coins with a mint mark, which was totally normal. But here's the kicker. Not all 1964 pennies are created equal. Some of these bad boys are just regular old pennies worth, you guessed it, a penny. But there's one very special penny that collectors are going absolutely bonkers for. It's the one that sold for a whopping $1.9 million. Now, you're probably wondering, why is this coin worth more than my car, and maybe even my house? It all comes down to rarity, condition, and a little bit of collector's magic. The $1.9 million penny was in pristine condition, a grade called MS-67 red, which basically means it's so flawless, it might as well have been made yesterday. Meanwhile, my coins look like they've survived a zombie apocalypse. But hey, who's judging? Here's the fun part. How can you find out if you're sitting on a fortune? Step 1. Check the date. Look for 1964. Step 2. Check for the mint mark or lack of one. Remember, no mint mark means Philadelphia. Step 3. Examine the condition. If it looks like it's been through 57 wallets and a trip through the washing machine, well, let's just say it's not millionaire material. Don't worry if your eyesight isn't great. Consider it your excuse to buy one of those fancy magnifying glasses. You know, the ones that make you look like a detective from a 1950s noir film? Now, let's talk money. Most 1964 no-mint mark pennies are worth their face value, 1 cent. But if you have a high-grade coin, it could be worth a few $100. And if you somehow discover the next MS 67 red, well, hello, $1.9 million. Just imagine the possibilities. Paying off debts, traveling the world, or finally buying that espresso machine your wallet keeps vetoing. Here's a funny story. A few years ago, I was helping my grandma clean out her attic, and we found an old coffee can full of pennies. Naturally, I got excited and started sorting through them, imagining I'd find something amazing. Spoiler alert, the most valuable thing we found was a Canadian penny, which isn't even legal tender here. But hey, it was a bonding moment, and now I have a cool story to tell. Start digging through your couch cushions, old jars, and grandma's attic. You never know. You might just hit the jackpot with a 1964 no-mint mark penny. And if you don't, well, at least you'll have an excuse to finally clean out that junk drawer. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got tons more tips on coins worth money and strategies to help you cash in on hidden treasures. Who knows? Your next find could be life-changing. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting! Imagine this. You're sorting through an old jar of pennies, and boom, you find a coin worth $1.9 million. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, what if I told you that dream could actually come true? Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of the 1964 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a humble coin that could turn you into a millionaire. So grab your loose change and stick around, because you won't want to miss this. Let's start with the basics. First, what do we mean by no mint mark? Simple. It means the coin was minted in Philadelphia. Back in 1964, Philadelphia didn't stamp their coins with a mint mark, which was totally normal. But here's the kicker. Not all 1964 pennies are created equal. Some of these bad boys are just regular old pennies worth, you guessed it, a penny. But there's one very special penny that collectors are going absolutely bonkers for. It's the one that sold for a whopping $1.9 million. Now, you're probably wondering, why is this coin worth more than my car, and maybe even my house? It all comes down to rarity, condition, and a little bit of collector's magic. The $1.9 million penny was in pristine condition, a grade called MS 67 red, which basically means it's so flawless, it might as well have been made yesterday. Meanwhile, my coins look like they've survived a zombie apocalypse. But hey, who's judging? Here's the fun part. How can you find out if you're sitting on a fortune? Step 1. Check the date. Look for 1964. Step 2. Check for the mint mark or lack of one. Remember, no mint mark means Philadelphia. Step 3. Examine the condition. If it looks like it's been through 57 wallets and a trip through the washing machine, well, let's just say it's not millionaire material. Don't worry if your eyesight isn't great. Consider it your excuse to buy one of those fancy magnifying glasses. You know, the ones that make you look like a detective from a 1950s noir film? Now, let's talk money. Most 1964 no-mint mark pennies are worth their face value, 1 cent. But if you have a high-grade coin, it could be worth a few $100. And if you somehow discover the next MS 67 red, well, hello, $1.9 million. Just imagine the possibilities. Paying off debts, traveling the world, or finally buying that espresso machine your wallet keeps vetoing. Here's a funny story. A few years ago, I was helping my grandma clean out her attic, and we found an old coffee can full of pennies. Naturally, I got excited and started sorting through them, imagining I'd find something amazing. Spoiler alert, the most valuable thing we found was a Canadian penny, which isn't even legal tender here. But hey, it was a bonding moment, And now I have a cool story to tell. Start digging through your couch cushions, old jars, and grandma's attic. You never know. You might just hit the jackpot with a 1964 no-mint mark penny. And if you don't, well, at least you'll have an excuse to finally clean out that junk drawer. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got tons more tips on coins worth money and strategies to help you cash in on hidden treasures. Who knows? Your next find could be life-changing. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting! Did you know that a penny from 1990 could be worth $1 million? No, this isn't a joke, and you're not dreaming. But there's a catch. This penny isn't your average, run-of-the-mill, pun intended, coin. In fact, it's the no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny that could be sitting in your change jar, completely unnoticed. So, how in the world does a simple copper penny from 1990 turn into a rare treasure worth a small fortune? Stick around, and I'll tell you the whole story, how to spot one, and why it's getting so much attention in the collector's world. All right, let's start with the basics. We all know the Abraham Lincoln penny, right? It's been around for over a century, and you can find them pretty much everywhere. But what makes this 1990 penny special? In a nutshell, the mint mark or lack thereof. Normally, the U.S. Mint stamps pennies with a mint mark to show where they were made, either the Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, the Denver Mint, D, or the San Francisco Mint, S. But here's the kicker. In 1990, the Philadelphia Mint actually forgot to put a mint mark on some of their pennies, and they ended up in circulation. For years, people had no idea that this was something rare. Fast forward to today, and this no mint mark penny is one of the most coveted coins out there. Because of the rarity of these unmarked coins, they're now fetching insane amounts in the collector's market, up to $1 million. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, but let's be honest, we all secretly hope to find that one needle, don't we? So, how can you spot one of these pennies? First, let's talk about how to tell if your 1990 penny is worth the big bucks. Look at the back of your penny. Does it have the D or S mint mark? If it doesn't, congratulations, you may have a no mint mark penny on your hands. But hold up, don't start running to your local coin dealer just yet. These coins can be worth a lot of money if they're in good condition. The more pristine, the better. We're talking about those coins with no wear, scratches, or tarnishing. If it's been sitting in your change jar for years, it might be worth a lot less. But hey, it could still be worth more than the penny you paid for it. You're probably wondering, how in the world does a simple mistake by the US Mint turn into a coin worth so much? Great question. The rarity is the key. In the coin world, a mistake can sometimes be a gold mine. Imagine finding a rare collectible baseball card that was printed wrong, and now it's worth a small fortune. That's what's happening here. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was going through some old change I had lying around. Mostly pennies, nickels, dimes, the usual. And I came across a 1990 penny. At first, I thought nothing of it. It was just another one of those copper little guys. But then, I thought, hey, what if this is the one? What if this is the jackpot? So, I checked it, no mint mark. I couldn't believe my eyes. The thing was in pretty good condition, too. I took it to a local dealer, hoping for some decent cash. It wasn't a $1 million penny, but you can guess that it was worth way more than the 1 cent I thought it was worth. Moral of the story? You just never know. Even the tiniest piece of change could be a hidden gem. So, here's the deal, folks. If you've got a 1990 penny with no mint mark, it could be your ticket to some serious cash. Now, I'm not saying you're going to become an overnight millionaire, unless you're lucky, and hey, anything's possible. But even just having one of these coins could put you a step closer to building a valuable coin collection. Now, if you're thinking, wow, maybe I've got more coins worth money just sitting around, you're in luck. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, because I'll be sharing tips on other rare coins, how to spot them, and how you can cash in on your collections. You might have more valuable coins in your pocket right now than you ever imagined. And hey, if you ever find that 1 in a million penny, don't forget to come back and tell me about it. I'll be waiting to hear your success story. Have you ever thought that that little penny sitting in your coin jar could be worth, well, $1 million? Sounds crazy, right? But believe it or not, There's a special penny from 1969 that could fetch you a cool $1.1 million. Yes, you heard that right, a penny. Not a rare gold coin, not some ancient Roman artifact, but just a plain old copper penny. Today, we're diving into the mysterious and wildly valuable 1969 D. Abraham Lincoln penny, what makes it so special, and why it's worth way more than your average pocket change. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might be scouring your change jar and thinking, I knew it. You've got your standard pennies, right? Those shiny copper-colored coins that you find in your wallet, under the couch cushions, or in your car's cup holder, where they accumulate faster than dust. We're all familiar with them. But the 1969 D penny? That one's got a secret that could make it worth a fortune. Let's talk about how this coin became the holy grail of pennies to SO. What's so special about the 1969 D penny? The key word here is error. It's not your run-of-the-mill, mass-produced penny. No, my friend, this one was produced with a major minting mistake. Back in 1969, a small number of pennies were accidentally struck with a double die, meaning the design was imprinted onto the coin twice, slightly off-center. This error made the details look blurry and doubled, creating a distinctive look that can be spotted under magnification. If you're thinking, why would that be valuable? Well, let me explain. See, when a mistake happens in the world of coin production, especially with something as iconic as the Lincoln penny, collectors lose their minds. And when a mistake is as obvious as a double die, well, it's like spotting a unicorn in your backyard. The 1969 D penny isn't just a rare mistake. It's the rare mistake. Now, let's get to the million-dollar part. You may have heard rumors of this coin being worth $1.1 million, and it's not just folklore. The last one of these pennies sold at auction for that jaw-dropping amount. Imagine holding a penny worth more than most people's homes. The 1969 D double die era penny is considered one of the most valuable coins out there, and it's all because of how rare it is. Think about it, $1 million for a penny. That's a whole new meaning to penny for your thoughts, right? But before you get all excited, don't go rushing to the nearest coin shop just yet. Not every 1969 D penny is worth a fortune. Condition matters. If you've got one that's worn down, scratched up, or just looks like it's been through the laundry, we've all been there, then unfortunately, it's not going to fetch you a cool million. In fact, most 1969 D pennies are worth about a couple of cents, which, let's be real, isn't exactly life-changing. The ones that go for the big bucks are the ones in near-perfect condition, with the error clearly visible. Now, I know what you're thinking. How the heck do I know if I've got a 1969 D penny that could be worth a fortune? Well, let me tell you about my own little coin hunt story. A few years ago, I was going through a box of coins I inherited from my grandpa. He was a coin collector, so I thought, hey, maybe I'll find something cool, like an old silver dollar or a rare Kennedy half. But I'll be honest with you, most of the coins were, well, not that exciting. There were a few Wheaties, some 40s and 50s era pennies, and a whole lot of 1980s nickels. But then, as I was flipping through, I stumbled upon a 1969 D penny. It wasn't shiny, but it looked pretty darn good. And because I had just learned about the double die error, I grabbed my magnifying glass like some sort of treasure hunter, inspecting every detail. No dice. Turns out, it was just a regular penny. No double die. No big payday. But, hey, it was a fun experience. And who knows, maybe one day I'll get lucky. The moral of the story is, always check your pennies. It could be your ticket to a new car, or at least a really good vacation to SO. Let's break down the big question. How do you know if you have one of these rare 1969 D double die pennies? Look for the D mint mark. You need to have a penny minted in Denver, which means it'll have a D on it. If you don't see a D, you're out of luck for this specific error. Check for the double die. The most prominent feature is the doubling of the image. You'll notice the Liberty and In God We Trust inscriptions may have a shadow or doubling effect. The date will also have that double look. Condition is key. The better the condition, the higher the value. If you've got a mint condition one, congratulations. You might be sitting on a small fortune. Alright, so here's the bottom line. The 1969 D. Abraham Lincoln penny with a double die error is one of the most coveted coins out there. And if you happen to have one, you could be looking at a nice chunk of change, $1.1 million, to be exact. But finding one in good condition is rare, and unless you've got the keen eyes of a professional coin collector, it might take a little time, a magnifying glass, and a bit of luck to spot one. Got any old pennies lying around? Before you toss them into your piggy bank or, worse, into the wishing well, take a second look. Maybe you've got a hidden gem just waiting to be discovered. If you found this video helpful, or even if you just enjoyed hearing about the wild world of valuable coins, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on more tips about coins worth money and strategies for making your collection worth its weight in gold, or at least in rare pennies. So, you've got a penny in your pocket, right? Well, what if I told you that a simple 1994 penny could be worth over $1 million? Yup, you heard that right, and I'm not kidding. In today's video, we're diving deep into the world of coin collecting and revealing the surprising value of a 1994 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. But trust me, this isn't your average find a coin, make a quick buck story. Stick around, and I'll explain why this particular penny is a hidden treasure worth up to $1.2 million. Alright, let's break this down step by step. The 1994 D penny, which was minted in Denver, doesn't exactly scream, "I'm worth millions" when you look at it. In fact, you might just toss it aside without a second thought. But here's the kicker. It's not just any 1994 penny. It's one of the rarest of its kind. It all has to do with an incredibly rare error that happened during the minting process. And let me tell you, this isn't your typical oopsie coin. We're talking about a mistake that turned this penny into a gold mine. Now, let's talk about the specifics. Normally, the 1994 D penny is worth about, well, a penny. However, there's this extremely rare variety where the coin got stamped double. That's right, 2 times. The result? A distorted, double-impressed Abraham Lincoln on the face of the coin. And it's this error that makes it worth upwards of $1.2 million. Sounds like a tall tale, right? But trust me, collectors have shelled out crazy amounts of cash for one of these rare beauties. Now, you might be wondering, how on earth do I find one of these? And while I wish I could hand you a magical coin-finding map, it's actually a lot harder than it sounds. These rare errors are so elusive that they don't just show up in your pocket change every day. And I can speak from personal experience. I've scoured my change jar, thinking I hit the jackpot, only to find a bunch of meh pennies that aren't worth a thing. But here's a funny story. One day, I went to a coin show. I mean, if I was ever going to find a rare coin, it'd be there, right? I came across a guy selling a 1994 D penny, and I couldn't resist asking about it. With all my excitement, I asked, "Hey, does this one have any minting errors?" And the guy, trying to hold back laughter, says, "Well, it's got some wear and tear, but no $1 million error." It was like I'd been handed a reality check. Turns out finding one of these rare coins is a lot like finding a needle in a haystack. But hey, it's still fun to dream. So how can you tell if your 1994 D penny is one of these $1 million misprints? Double strike error. Check for double images of Abraham Lincoln, particularly on the date and the bust. Clear mint mark. The D mint mark should also be doubled if it's part of this rare error. Overall condition. Like most valuable coins, the condition matters. The better the condition, the more it's worth. While it's exciting to search through your change, the chances of finding one of these rare 1994 D pennies are slim to none. And honestly, even if you do find one, getting it certified by a professional grader is a must before you can sell it for big money. Certification adds legitimacy to the coin and can bump its value up even higher. So, let's recap. The 1994 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny with a double strike error is worth a lot, like over $1 million. But unless you're incredibly lucky, chances are you'll find yourself with a regular old penny. Still, don't let that discourage you from checking your spare change or diving deeper into coin collecting. You never know when you might stumble upon a hidden treasure, and that's what makes coin hunting so exciting. If you love learning about coins and want to get more tips on what to look for, how to start collecting, or how to maximize your coin's value, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I've got tons of coin-related content coming your way that'll help you discover even more treasures hiding in plain sight. Plus, you'll get a front-row seat to all the future "I found a rare coin" stories. So, keep on hunting, keep on checking your pockets, and remember, The next penny you pick up could be the one that makes you a fortune. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more tips, tricks, and fun coin facts. So, you know how you have that one drawer in your house, right? The one full of loose change, forgotten receipts, and, you know, random stuff you'll never need? I'm willing to bet you've got a few pennies in there, maybe from the last time you had a vending machine crisis, or some change you got back from your coffee shop order. Well, what if I told you that one of those pennies could be worth over $1 million? Yep, you heard that right. A single penny, a 2006 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, could make you a millionaire. Stick around, because I'm going to tell you all about it. How to spot the treasure, why it's worth so much, and how you can start searching through your own stash of coins. So, grab that jar of pennies and let's dive in. Alright, first things first. Why is a 2006 D Mint Mark penny so special? We're talking about a simple penny, people. Nothing flashy. It's made of copper and zinc, weighs about 2.5 grams, and has that famous image of Abraham Lincoln on the front. But it's not the usual penny we're talking about. In 2006, a few of these pennies were minted with a rare flaw that makes them highly sought after by collectors today. These are the 2006 pennies that feature a double die error, which means the coin was struck twice during production. That extra layer of detail on Lincoln's face and the letters on the reverse side creates an anomaly that, well, collectors go crazy for. You're probably thinking, oh, so I've been tossing these pennies away all these years thinking they're worth, like a penny. How could I have missed it? And hey, I get it. I've been there too. You wouldn't believe the amount of change I've tossed into my car's cup holder or buried in the couch cushions, only to find out later that it could have been a gold mine. Actually, funny story. One time, I found a coin in my pocket and I thought it was just a regular penny. But something about it felt special. I kept it in my wallet for months. Fast forward to when I'm watching a coin collection show on TV, and guess what? That same penny I thought was just a penny turned out to be a rare variety, worth hundreds. Unfortunately, it wasn't a 2006 D, but it still gave me a good laugh when I realized that I might have been unknowingly sitting on a treasure chest all these years. Now, back to the 2006 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Not all of them are worth a fortune. In fact, finding one with the right double die error is rare, and most of the 2006 pennies you come across won't have this defect. But those that do, they're worth upwards of $1.3 million if they're in good condition. How do I know if mine is one of those? Great question. The easiest way to tell is by examining Lincoln's face. If you see any doubling in the details, like his eye, chin, or the letters around his face, it's a good sign. The reverse side can show some doubling too, particularly around the words e pluribus unum, or the phrase United States of America. If you find one of these, make sure you don't just toss it in your change jar or your wallet. It's time to pull out that magnifying glass and check the details. And if it checks out, get it appraised. You never know when you've stumbled across a rare coin. But wait, don't go searching your pockets just yet. Not all 2006 D Mint Mark pennies are valuable. There are plenty of fakes out there, so don't get too excited until you know what you're looking for. And remember, condition is key. The better shape it's in, the more it'll be worth. So, if you find one and it's a little banged up, it might still be worth something. But the real big bucks are for the mint condition coins. Laughs, of course. If you find one and it's looking like it's been through a time machine or a pocket with a few too many crumbs, don't despair. It's still worth checking in with a pro just to be sure. You might have a small fortune hidden in plain sight, and it could all start with a 2006 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. And hey, even if you don't have one worth $1 million, there are plenty of other rare coins out there waiting for you to discover them. Before you go digging through your drawers, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'll be sharing more tips and tricks on how to spot rare coins and turn your loose change into big cash. Plus, you won't want to miss out on the next coin treasure hunt. Trust me, you never know when you'll strike gold, or in this case, copper. Thanks for tuning in, and happy coin hunting, my friends. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you've ever found a rare coin or if you're just now getting excited about checking your pennies. Another penny, another day of boredom. But hold on to your change jar, because today we're diving into something that might just change your whole perspective on pennies. especially the 1970D mint Mark Lincoln penny. You might want to check your pockets or even your piggy bank because this coin could be worth a whopping $1.4 million. Yes, you heard me right, $1.5 million. So, before you toss that penny into the fountain or use it to scratch off a lottery ticket, stick with me. I'm about to tell you how one little coin can make you a millionaire, but don't just take my word for it. Let's break down exactly why this 1970D penny could be sitting in your wallet right now, possibly making you richer than you ever imagined. Alright, let's get into it. The 1970D Lincoln penny, yes, the one from 1970 with the D mint mark, made in Denver, doesn't exactly scream, "I'm worth a fortune," right? It looks just like any other penny you'd find rolling around in the bottom of your car or wedged between the couch cushions. But here's where things get wild. Not every 1970D penny is created equal. This is where the fun begins. You see, there's a rare variety of the 1970D penny called the 1970D double die obverse. Sounds fancy? Huh? I know. It's a mouthful. Basically, this means that the coin has a double image of Lincoln's face and the inscriptions on the front. It's not something you'll just casually spot, and that's part of the charm. You walk into a coin shop, and you tell the dealer you've got a 1970D penny with that double die. The dealer's eyes widen, and they start sweating. Why? Because they know it could be worth serious money, sometimes up to $1.4 million. That's right, one coin, one penny, and your bank account could suddenly be looking a lot more robust. Now, I'm not saying you'll get that lucky, but hey, it's worth checking. So, how do you spot one of these rare pennies? You're going to want to look closely at the wording on the front, especially around Liberty and In God We Trust. If you see any double images or a little bit of extra ink where it shouldn't be, then congratulations, you might just have a winner. Now, let's talk about how this penny got so valuable. The reason these 1970D double die pennies are so rare is that they were made by a mishap in the minting process. It was an issue where the die that stamped the penny was struck twice, causing the double image. Since it wasn't intended to happen, not many of these coins made it into circulation. In fact, it's estimated that only a small fraction of the 1970D pennies were struck with this error. So, if you're lucky enough to have one, you've basically got a little piece of history in your hands. Now, before you go getting all excited and start scouring your piggy bank, I've got to say, not every 1970D penny is going to make you a millionaire. A regular, non-error penny from 1970D is pretty much worth face value, 1 cent. So, don't go running to eBay thinking you're going to strike it rich. The error variety, on the other hand, has been known to sell for up to $1.4 million at auction. But it's not just about luck. You'll want to make sure your coin is in good condition and properly authenticated. Let me tell you a little story about my personal experience with coins. It was a few years ago, and I was on one of my classic coin hunting adventures. I was at a flea market, digging through boxes of old coins, and I came across this worn-out, dusty penny. Now, it didn't look like much at first, but something about it caught my eye. I took it home, did a little research, and wouldn't you know it? It turned out to be a 1943 copper penny, another rare coin that's worth a small fortune. That's when I realized just how easy it is to overlook something valuable just because it doesn't shine like a diamond. So, don't be quick to dismiss those pennies lying around. They could be hiding a fortune. Now, what should you do if you think you've got one of these rare 1970D double die pennies? First of all, calm down and don't start spending that potential fortune on a new car just yet. Here's the key. Get it professionally appraised and graded. It's important to know the condition of your coin before you even think about selling it. Coins in pristine condition are worth a lot more, so the better shape it's in, the higher the value. You'll also want to have it authenticated by a reputable grading service. Believe me, it's worth the time and money to make sure you've got the real deal. Another thing to remember is that these coins don't just show up every day. You're not going to find one in every jar of loose change, but if you do find one, hold on to it tight and make sure you treat it well. Coins like this are pieces of history, and they might be worth far more than you expect. All right, folks, there you have it. The 1970D Lincoln penny and its million-dollar potential. Who knew that such a small, humble coin could hold so much value, right? So, the next time you're digging through your change, keep an eye out. You never know when you could strike gold, or at least, a shiny penny worth far more than 1 cent. If you found this video helpful or entertaining, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. There are tons of other coins out there just waiting to make you rich, and I'm here to help you discover them. Plus, I've got plenty more tips and strategies on coin hunting and collecting that you won't want to miss. So, what are you waiting for? Go check your pockets, dig through your change jar, and who knows, you might just have a fortune sitting in your hands. Don't forget to hit that bell so you're notified whenever I drop new coin tips. All right, let's talk about something that could be sitting right in your pocket, unnoticed, just gathering lint. But guess what? That little penny could actually be worth a fortune. Yup, you heard me right. A penny. But not just any penny. I'm talking about the 1988 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that has some serious market potential. Think $1.5 million. Sounds crazy? Well, buckle up, because we're about to dive into why this little coin could change your life, or at least your bank account. Now, you're probably wondering, how in the world does a penny, especially one that was made over 30 years ago, end up being worth a small fortune? Let me take you back to 1988, long before you were scrolling through your phone, or maybe even before your parents had a cell phone. In fact, most of us probably weren't even thinking about collecting coins at that time. But that's when things got interesting with the 1988 penny. Now, here's the thing. Normally, every penny that's made in the US has a mint mark. You know, that little D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or P for Philadelphia. But in 1988, a few pennies slipped through the cracks. Pennies that didn't have a mint mark at all. They were produced in Philadelphia, but somehow, the mint marks got left out. And boom. This small mistake turned out to be a massive opportunity for collectors. I mean, it's like you're baking a cake and forgetting to put in the sugar. The cake might still be good, but you've just created something special. People are gonna want it because it's different. So, in a way, these 1988 no-mint mark pennies are the wild cards of the penny world. They're rare. They're valuable. And the best part? They're out there waiting for you to find them. Now, don't start raiding your change jar just yet. Not every 1988 penny without a mint mark is worth a fortune. There are still thousands of them out there. But a few, just a few, have sold for as much as $1.5 million. I know, it sounds too good to be true, but it's happened. There's even a famous example where one of these bad boys was auctioned off for that jaw-dropping price. Imagine you're at home, casually flipping through your coins, and bam, you find one of these bad boys. You're just sitting there, holding on to something worth more than your car or your entire mortgage. It's like the lottery, except you didn't have to buy a ticket. But before you get too excited, there's something I want to mention. Condition is key. Just like that wild card cake. If the penny is a little too battered or worn out, it's not going to fetch that $1.5 million price tag. The coins that go for big bucks are in mint condition. We're talking flawless, as close to perfect as possible. So, if you find a 1988 penny that looks like it's been run over by a truck, well, don't expect a call from a millionaire coin collector. Okay, let's be real. $1.5 million might sound like a long shot. But even in decent condition, a 1988 no-mint mark penny could still be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars, which is a pretty sweet deal for a coin that's worth, what, 1 cent when it was minted? I actually stumbled onto my first rare coin when I was about 10. It wasn't worth millions, but I thought I'd found gold. My grandma had given me a coin jar, and one day, I pulled out this old penny. It was a 1943 steel penny, which, as it turns out, is one of the rarer wartime pennies. I got all excited, thinking I had struck it rich. I showed it to my dad, and his face, well, it wasn't quite the reaction I was expecting. He looked at the penny and said, "That's worth maybe $1, kid." But I held on to it. And today, even though it wasn't worth as much as I hoped back then, it's still a part of my collection. The point is, you never know what's hiding in your pockets or in your change jar. You can never stop looking. That's how collectors find those hidden gems. Okay, so here's the deal. If you have a 1988 penny, go ahead, take a good look at it. See if it's one of those no-mint mark ones. And if it is, you might just have a pretty sweet find on your hands. Just don't forget, condition matters. And even if it's not worth $1 million, it could still be worth something much more than its face value. If you want more tips on finding valuable coins or learning how to make the most of your collection, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you'll want to stick around for more tips, tricks, and maybe even some more wild stories. So, what are you waiting for? Start looking through your coins today. You never know. You might be the next coin millionaire. Have you ever looked at your coin jar and thought, is there a hidden fortune here? Or is it just a bunch of forgotten pocket change? Well, you might be sitting on a gold mine, literally, or should I say a penny ally, without even knowing it. Today, we're diving into one of the most mind-blowing discoveries in coin history, the 1978 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Sounds crazy, right? A penny worth over $1.6 million? That's not some wild rumor, my friend. It's a real thing. But hold your horses, you're not going to find $1 million penny in your couch cushions, unless you've been living in an alternate universe. However, this penny's story is so wild. It'll make you want to take a second look at every penny you come across from here on out. Trust me, this is going to be a fun ride, so grab your magnifying glass and let's figure out what makes this penny so special. It's more than just a shiny copper disc. All right, let's break it down. Now, when you think of coins with major value, you probably picture gold bars, silver, or even rare quarters, right? But let me tell you, sometimes it's the smallest thing that can make the biggest splash. And this 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is the perfect example. So first off, you're probably wondering, what on earth is a no-mint mark penny? Well, normally, US coins have a tiny mint mark on them. That's the letter stamped onto the coin that shows where it was made. Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. The mint mark helps collectors figure out how rare a coin is. Now, in 1978, the US Mint accidentally produced a few pennies without a mint mark. This rare mistake, just like that embarrassing moment when you sent a text to the wrong person, we've all been there. Caught collectors' eyes. Here's where it gets juicy. Most of these pennies are worth, well, a penny. But there's a very specific batch of these no mint mark pennies that are extremely rare and in pristine condition. And guess what? One of them, just one, was sold at auction for $1.6 million in 2019. Let that sink in. A penny, worth more than a luxury car. Or, 1.6 million actual pennies. Now, if you're anything like me, you probably had a moment where you thought, I need to start looking through every penny I've ever come across. And I get it. It's hard not to get excited about finding something that could make you a millionaire. But here's the thing, folks. Not every 1978 penny is going to make you rich. In fact, most of them are going to be worth, well, the 1 cent they were originally minted for. But here's what you need to know to actually tell if your penny is the million-dollar treasure. First, make sure the penny is in good shape. I'm talking about no scratches, no dents, and no signs that it's been used as a poker chip at a backyard barbecue. The more pristine the coin, the more it's worth. Second, check if the coin has the weird, missing mint mark. And finally, if you happen to have one of these beauties, you'll want to get it professionally appraised. So you can sit back and wait for the offers to roll in. Now, don't start rummaging through your childhood piggy bank thinking you're going to retire tomorrow. While some 1978 no mint mark pennies can be worth a small fortune, the chances of you finding one in your spare change are slim to none. But hey, someone has to find it, right? Why not you? It's all about knowing what you're looking for. And if you're thinking, how the heck did this mistake even happen in the first place? Well, buckle up. There's a little behind-the-scenes drama involved. Some experts believe the no-mint mark pennies were produced by accident during the process of production at the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia. At the time, it was common for pennies to be made there, so the assumption was that the coins would have the P mint mark. But for whatever reason, whether it was a technical glitch or just an honest mistake, the coins came out blank, and the rest is history. Now, don't worry if you don't find that rare 1978 no mint mark penny. There are other coins out there worth more than their weight in copper and nickel. So stay tuned for more videos where we'll dive deep into coins that might be sitting in your jar right now, waiting to make you a millionaire. So, what do you think? Ready to dig through your penny jar and see if you have a $1.6 million treasure waiting for you? Well, I wouldn't start spending your millions just yet. But hey, who knows? Maybe your next find will be the jackpot. If you enjoyed today's video, and you're just as obsessed with coin collecting as I am, do me a solid. hit that subscribe button. I've got more coin tips, strategies, and treasure hunts lined up for you. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. And hey, if you've already checked your pennies and found something cool, drop a comment below and tell me about it. Who knows? You might just be the next lucky one to find a coin worth more than a car. Thanks for hanging out with me today.